Hi, good evening and welcome to my first ever Q&A session. And these questions have been submitted to the Sector X team Twitter account, and I thought I would take the time to record my responses. So without further ado, let's get cracking. So the first question is, first tell us about yourself. Okay, well, my name is Dennis. I'm from Glasgow, Scotland. Like most people, I am an avid gamer. I prefer, first ever console that I had, probably my favourite because of the memories that goes with it, is the Super Nintendo, also known as the SNES. Things like Super Mario Karts, Donkey Kong Country, all brilliant games, and they obviously are a part of my childhood. And plus, I think games nowadays have been dumbed down for the masses, as back in the day consoles weren't that great of a thing. And you really just had to be your best and be at the top of your game in order to beat games. Okay, so second question. What has brought you to Twitch? Well, I've come to Twitch as I was a very part-time streamer on YouTube. I produced something like 15 videos on YouTube prior to the switch over to Twitch, but due to a change in YouTube's policies, means that I can no longer monetize my content, as the targets that YouTube are asking for you in order to make anything from any videos. I just think that the targets are way, I don't know, they're unrealistic, they're really inflated, and it only really suits the creators that are already well established. It doesn't really benefit the little guys. So I'm sure that Twitch will be seeing quite an influx of people switching over. Okay, so question 3. What are your plans for your channel? Are you a typical Let's Player, or is this something special in the works? Well, I have only just completed Bioshock Remastered. So as it stands at the moment, yes, I am like a typical Let's Player at the minute, but I am kind of throwing ideas around at the moment, try and make myself stand out a little bit more from the other people that are doing this. So watch this space, we shall see what comes up. Okay, so question 4. What made you join Sector X TV? Well, I joined Sector X TV as I mentioned before, after the YouTube's change in algorithm, I was a little bit disheartened, and it come to the point where I thought, obviously I wasn't making any money from YouTube at that point either, but it just seemed like the goalposts had just been completely ripped up and they've been put so far away. Then my friend, Sector X, came to myself, Craig Abel and randomly me, with an idea that he would create a website so that like-minded people could showcase all of our content, and we would build a community where we're all putting in to try and boost each other, so that at some point we'll become mid-range to bigger channels ourselves. So there you go. Okay, so question 5. Someone literally stumbled upon your channel, what would they find? Well, someone was to stumble across my channel, you would find a variety of different types of games, different genres. You probably find mostly though that you would either find me playing first person shooting, a role playing game, or a platform, because these tend to be my kind of favourite kind of ones. You will also find me playing some, it's not something I've gone into great depth with, but you will find me playing some massive multiplayer online games like Elder Scrolls Online. It's usually AAA titles, however you will find that occasionally, depending on where the mood takes me, you will find some retro content there as well, like from Super Nintendo era, even playing some Sega games, although Sega was never my forte, but really I'm up for anything when it comes to gaming, as long as it can be mapped to an Xbox controller. See, I didn't really grow up with PC gaming, so I think I missed out a little bit, because there's more control when you're playing with a keyboard, for so I've heard, but it's always been a controller that I've grown up with, so it's maybe something that I should learn for the future. But yeah, that's what you'll find on my channel. Okay, so question 6. You recently compared Road Redemption to Road Rash. Is it really that similar? Well, yes, I think there is a lot of similarities between the games. 1, it's a biking game, 2, it's a violent game. I think obviously it is its own game in its own right. It is like Road Rash, but it's brought a format which was like rather antiquated and brought it right up to date. You've got better graphics in it, and you've got the ability to use firearms or bombs in the game too. One of the things that I don't miss about, one of the things that they've omitted from the original Road Rash series, if you've ever played the game, if you were going along on your bike and you got brought off your bike would travel a fair distance away, and you had to sit and watch an animation of a biker running along the grass verge, going to get his bike, and occasionally you would get a motorbike coming from behind you and knocking you out again. So I'm so glad that has been an omission in this new game. I've yet to complete the game. I've got fairly far in it, but yeah, it is a fairly difficult game. So, question number 7. Now, we know you are Scottish. Really? Tell us what's the worst thing about Scotland. Well, there's a lot of really good things about Scotland. Obviously, I live and work in Glasgow. Obviously the largest city in Scotland. It's quite a big metropolis, and obviously if you go further north of Scotland you'll find a lot of beautiful scenery. The worst thing for myself though is when I was younger I spent about 5 years in a small town off the west coast of Scotland called Denbo, and the only type of work that was available was in a hotel, and Denbo obviously thrives on its kind of tourism industry. So a lot of you have probably heard of Burn Supper. We used to have a Burn Supper every single week, and the thing I hate most about Scotland is bagpipes. Now, I know it sounds a little unpatriotic, but they're horrible, honestly. It's like most musical instruments are nice on the ear, whereas bagpipes are just wailing, screaming. I don't know, it makes my ears bleed, you know. So yeah, bagpipes is definitely the worst thing for myself. Fortunately, living in Glasgow, with it being a bigger metropolis, it's not something that you hear that often, thankfully. Okay, so question 8. Smoke or drink? Unfortunately, I have to say yes to both. I smoke regularly, although I wish I didn't. It's one of the ones that's like you're younger, you wish you kind of smoke to be cool, fit in with everyone else. And now, obviously I'm addicted to it. So wishing I didn't start. I would like to quit. I have quit before. I quit for about 6 months, but it's just a force of habit now. Regards to drink, I'm not a huge drinker. Don't get me wrong, I can handle a few beers, but anything more than a few beers, there's a term for it in here in Scotland. I'll generally be the first one to whitey, also known as being sick, or it could also be known as visiting Hughie and Ralph. So yeah, I can't, anything more than a couple of beers, I can't really handle it. So yeah. Okay, so question 9. What's your tipple? Okay, no. As I mentioned, I do like a few beers. I'd say that probably my 2 favourite beers would either be Miller, Genuine Draft, or Corona with a slice of lime. If I am feeling flush, or if I've got to spare some spare cash in my pocket, then I do enjoy a bit of Sun Comfort lemonade or Sun Comfort Coke. But like I said before in my previous questions, although I may enjoy it, by the end of the night I'm not enjoying it because I'm being sick. So yeah, that's my favourite drink. Okay, so question 10. Do you watch other Twitch streamers? Well, I'm fairly new to streaming on Twitch, but I have started watching a few people. One, really just to get kind of pointers, how they go about things, because although I have done streaming before, I've never really had a proper setup for it. Now I've got myself dual screen, I've got myself a mic, as you can see here, and this comfortable gaming chair. So yeah, I've got all the tools readily available to myself now. I think obviously I'm enjoying being on Twitch. It's having streamed on YouTube before. I think that this is a great format. It always, I don't know, I think YouTube has got to a stage now where it's too big for its boots kind of thing. It's like YouTube originally was advertised as like, I can't remember exactly what the phrase was, but it was kind of advertised like YouTube, like, I really can't remember what the phrase was, but it was like, show yourself off to the world. And now you've got these people trying to do that, and not making any benefit from it whatsoever. But yeah, I've been watching a few, so yeah. Okay, question number 11. What is your top 3 Twitch streamers that you would recommend? Well, obviously I am going to say my fellow colleagues and friends in Sector X team. However, I have been watching a few others. One of the first ones outside my own team was a streamer called Self-Pow, which I think is a really cool name to give me. She streams like kind of battle royale games. The reason I came across her was she was playing one of my favourite games, in Tomb Raider, and we just got chatting. The other one that I've been watching was Diasic GC. Apologies if I'm mispronouncing his name, but this is another small streamer from Colorado, and again, sitting watching him play one of my all-time favourites from my childhood was, well, when I'm saying my childhood, good 10 years anyway, was Final Fantasy X, and I've just recently came across another one who again is just starting out, called Flying Salamander. He likes playing like PvP type games, but yeah, it's something I think that's the best thing about Twitch, obviously, that you get to come across people that are doing, like-minded people that are doing exactly the same thing, and I think it's in order to build a website, it's a good format for getting to speak to somebody, because they're broadcasting themselves. That was it, YouTube, broadcast yourself, that's what it was. But they're broadcasting themselves, so they're open to your chatter, and in that way you can forge friendships, relationships with people from around the world, and then we can eventually grow the community, which is what the mission kind of is with Sector X TV. So there we go. Okay, so question 12. Who would win in a fight between Mr. Handy and Mr. Gutsy, and why? Well, obviously Mr. Handy and Mr. Gutsy, if you've been living under a rock for the last 10 years, you'll realise that these are robots that are in the Fallout franchise. Now, there is a lot of similarities between Mr. Handy and Mr. Gutsy, but I would say that Mr. Gutsy model would most likely win hands down. Both machines were made by General Atomics, but the Mr. Gutsy version is a militarised version of the Mr. Handy, so it has got more firepower that packs a punch. So I suppose it's a bit like asking who would win between a butler and a soldier. Because obviously the Mr. Handy was a household robot. Now, normally anyone would say, yeah, a soldier's going to win. They've got the training. That is, of course, you happen to be Bruce Wayne's butler, then you certainly don't mess with him. So, there you go. Okay, so question 2 seconds. Question 12. Name your top 5 games of all time. Wow, I got so many. Narrow it down to 5. God. If I was to choose, I would probably go first of all with Tomb Raider. I played all of the Tomb Raider games to date. Only one that I've not completed so far is Rise of the Tomb Raider, but with the advent of Shadow of the Tomb Raider coming out in September, it's something that I will be revisiting before the launch date. I really like, although I like all the games, I really like the rebooted versions of them. It's brought it up to, obviously, if you remember Tomb Raider back in the day, I thought, like the PlayStation 1, we thought, oh, wow, this is great, but when you look back at it, it's not aged very well at all. It's dead wonky. I dare say in 10 years time though, the current game, I think it will probably stand its stead. It's a really good game. So Tomb Raider would be my first. Next, I would probably say Fallout New Vegas. I was kind of late to the Fallout series. I didn't start like with Fallout 1, Fallout Tactics, Fallout 2. First one I ever played was Fallout 3, and I was like, wow, I was blown away. Then Fallout New Vegas came through, and it was an improvement on the original format. Don't get me wrong, I also really enjoyed Fallout 4. I think the thing that kind of put me off Fallout 4 a little bit is that it's almost like you against the world. Everybody and anybody in the game is wanting to kill you. So that's why that kind of slips down from New Vegas. Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 1 originally came out on the Xbox 360. I never owned an Xbox, but I was of the PlayStation genre. But Mass Effect 2 was brilliant. Mass Effect 3 also brilliant. Little bit disappointed in Mass Effect Andromeda. I think they could have done so much more with it. My next one, I would have to say Skyrim. What can you say? You got swords, you've got magic, you've got dragons. I know it sounds a bit like Game of Thrones at the minute. Well, essentially it is the Game of Thrones of the game world. First time I've seen that game, I was blown away. Completed the game several times. It's one of the games that if you're bored and you think, oh, occasionally it's always the same for me. If I'm bored and there isn't any new games coming out, I'll always revert to either a Fallout or Skyrim, mainly because of the sheer amount of hours that you can get out of these games. Lastly, it's something I came late to, was Witcher. Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Wow, I was blown away by that game. I think I purchased that round about just before Christmas, and for a month or so I was totally addicted to the game. It's such a graphically, it's amazing. I think I probably went the wrong way around about it, but after playing Witcher 3 I thought, wow, that was brilliant. And I purchased Witcher 2 and Witcher 1, and I was comparing it against Witcher 3, and I didn't enjoy these games as much, so I reckon that I should have gone about it from 1 to 3 rather than 3 down to 1. But yeah, sadly I think though that the Witcher series is no longer, because I think Geralt de Rivia is going to be joining Left 4 Dead. But yeah, that's my top 5 of all time. Okay, so question 13, and now your worst 5. Okay, well, I would have to say that my worst 5 games, mainly due to frustration, I would have to say Wu-Tang Clan, Taste the Pain. I believe that was a PlayStation 1 title, and it was a fighting game, and it was just so damn difficult. You could only get to a certain point in the game, and you just couldn't get any further, and as you can imagine, frantically mashing buttons, and no matter what you tried, you just couldn't get past a certain level. My next one, obviously, probably take a bit of flank for this one, would be Pac-Man, mainly because I sucked at the game. Didn't have the patience for it whatsoever. As a lot of people do love the game though. Next one I would have to say was Driver 1 for the PS1. The game, although it was a good game, it really infuriated me. You were driving along the road, you crash into a lamppost, and normally if you crashed into a lamppost with a car, then the lamppost is like most games you'll find, like Grand Theft Auto, the lamppost would get damaged or it would crack or something, but this lamppost these lampposts were solid like walls, and so that made the game very, very frustrating for me. Next one I would say Dead Souls. Thought, oh, it's a really good soundtrack. But tried playing the game again, couldn't get anywhere with the game. Eventually it was just like, I think I played it, I kept on trying it for about a week, kept on playing it, and then eventually it's like, no, I've had enough of this. So that's amongst there. And lastly, unlike the other ones that kind of mostly infuriated me, the last one would be Mortal Kombat Mythologies Sub-Zero. The game was goddamn awful. I can see obviously that Mortal Kombat always been known as a fighting game. The town that I grew up in the arcade, Mortal Kombat 1 was actually a sit-in booth game. So I've kind of grown up playing all the Mortal Kombat games. Mortal Kombat Mythologies, I think they tried to branch out to bring it into like an RPG type game. It was just so bad. The controls were bad, the graphics were bad. For that reason, it's definitely in amongst one of the worst games ever made, in my opinion, that is. But yeah, that is my worst 5. Okay, so final question. Why should we follow you on Twitch? Well, I think you should follow me on Twitch as you no doubt surmised through the conversation here. I do play a lot of games, so you will find a wide range of different games on my channel. It's not just going to be what is popular and what is upcoming. One of the few things that I am planning for the channel, if you have a look on my Twitch, is obviously I'm going to be running through the Tomb Raider series from the 2013 franchise. Then once that's done and completed, I'll be moving on to Rise of the Tomb Raider, and then eventually Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Other games that you'll see me streaming there will be Road Redemption, because I do aim to complete that game, although it is a difficult game. I do aim to complete it. Later on in the year, I'm planning on Red Dead Redemption 2. Love the first one. If I'm not an Xbox player, so as far as I'm aware, Red Dead Redemption is only available on the Xbox One currently. So I would love to be streamed that, but I'm not, Xbox isn't my thing, although it is an Xbox controller that I use. They should make it cross-format as far as I'm concerned. If you're Xbox One, you should be able to play it on a PC, since it is obviously Microsoft as well. One of the things that you will be seeing from me fairly shortly is I've just recently pre-purchased the latest DLC for Elder Scrolls Online, which is based on the Somerset Islands. That is getting released on the 21st of May. So over the next couple of weeks I am going to be starting a brand new character on Elder Scrolls Online, and you'll be able to tune in and watch me play. the full storyline on that, and once Somerset becomes available, then hopefully I will be built up my character to a level where I'll be able to quite easily handle whatever's thrown at them. But with that, that was the final question. Thank you for watching this interview. You will find it on the Q&A section on sectorx.tv, no, sectorx.com, no, sectorxtv.com. I got there eventually. My own particular channel within that is sectorxtv.com/Denbo. So once again, thank you very much for watching, and you have yourself a nice evening or afternoon, whichever day at the time. Okay, so thank you.